All right, so welcome to the next immunity challenge. We're going to go ahead and start off with this story. So this story is called Episode 23, A Day We'll Never Forget. Hello, friends, and welcome back to those nicest kids in town. I am your host, Isaac Quinton Wilson, or as many of you once knew me as IQ. This, of course, is the show where we look back on my time within the Corny Collins Show and recount some of my fondest memories. You know, I'm often asked, IQ, you were on the Corny Collins Show for 14 consecutive seasons since its heyday. What would you say is your most memorable moment? And well, to that I say, as you have seen throughout the last season and a half of this show, there have been many. Whether it be the infamous day Amber Von Tussle had a wardrobe malfunction, the day Brad broke his ankle while trying to complete the twist, and we had to replace him with our underseen dancer, Zach, or that time the show was almost canceled in the hopes of trying to give more coverage to episodes of the Andy Griffith Show. There have been a plethora of moments we have explored within the show. However, perhaps the day that sticks out the most in my mind occurred on September 29th. The third season of the Corny Collins Show. It's a day many of us will forever remember fondly. Now, most of you are probably familiar with the beginning events of this day. The courageous Tracy Turnblad had just wowed everyone on the Corny Collins Show with a performance so effortless and stunning, it was impossible to resist. However, what you don't know is what happened the second the show had concluded. We had just got done adding Tracy into our roll call, and as the way most of our stories go, Amber Von Tussle was snarkily jealous, but today was a different kind of jealousy. Normally, she'd be upset over other girls flirting with Link or the camera panning over to Grace instead of her, which Velma was, of course, very quick to notice, but her jealousy towards Tracy was a whole different animal. This was someone who was so confident and optimistic about what she was doing, and had such a strong belief system that Amber simply couldn't stand it. So the show ends, and we are all called backstage after Velma, with the typical scowl on her face, says, "We're off." I remember afterwards, we were told that the ratings for the episode were the highest they had ever seen. And as a reward, they decided to let us order food from the local malt shop across the street. We were all excited, as we normally didn't get treated to this kind of food until hours after the show had ended. I think I had ordered a lime Ricky that day, which is a drink I've been wanting to try for a while and very much lived up to the immense hype surrounding it. I remember Tracy had gone a White Cow, which many of our other castmates divulged in. The importance of these drinks will be revealed later, but as you can imagine, it was quite a delightful time. However, the mood changed pretty quickly when Amber, as usual, wanted to be the center of attention. We were all talking about the show and how excited we were about both the ratings and having Tracy on the show, and she then said something along the lines of, "Everyone loves Tracy, don't they?" in a very sarcastic tone. She then grabbed her milkshake, stormed over, and nudged Tracy and told us, "Well, you'll love your new ratings even more if she was covered in vanilla." She then went and dumped the milkshake all over Tracy. At first, everyone was shocked. They didn't know what to do. They had seen Amber mad, but never to this level of jealousy. But eventually, one of our castmates, Madison, came over and called her out and grabbed her blonde hair and poured her soda fountain phosphate all over it. Pretty soon, what started as a fun occasion erupted into full-blown chaos, as practically everyone was spilling milkshakes onto each other, calling everyone out for past drama that had happened within the show. But while at first the mood was tension-filled, things changed a bit once our costume designer, Jen, came out and saw the mess we were all in. While normally this would have resulted in a reprimand, she noticed one of the drinks that had been taken yet was a Kotavla Flip, a drink I am guessing she had set her sights on for a while. So the second she took a sip, however, the drink fell out of her hands and toppled right onto her, and we all started laughing, and the fight became a lot more playful. We then heard a bit of a thud, which startled us, and we witnessed one of our castmates, Allie, must have gone off on her own. She was known to be a bit more timid than others, so she had a habit of wandering off a lot, and our stage manager, Jacob, ran out to see what had happened, and it turned out that she had tripped over a power cord that her not always bright camera operator, Kevin, must have left in. So once Jacob saw that she was okay, he and Allie also participated in the fun, as Allie's Bronx egg cream was the next to go. That entire night remains in my head as just one of the best times due to just how much fun we all were having. You know, we were all hormonal teenagers and we're constantly going through our own lovesick dramas. So it was nice to just for a little bit take some time to just have some fun. Despite the following day, when Velma came back and realized what had happened and told us that we will never order milkshakes again, and also threatened to kick everyone off the show, barring Amber, of course, because nepotism was always top priority to her at all times. But my friends, that is a story for another episode. Speaking of, next week, I'm happy to announce that I will have a guest on. Madison Kimry, the instigator of the milkshake fight herself, will be here to discuss her experiences within the show, and maybe will give us some more insight on her backstage drama with Amber. But until then, I am IQ, signing off. And remember, even if you weren't a part of the 60s, you can always be seen as one of the nicest kids in town. And that's the end of the story.
I'm gonna need you to run that back, even though that was so long.
All right, Allie, you can
Okay,
go.
you can take a break. You could take a second. You could chill, you guys. Take your time.
All right.
Yeah, you can read it the second time.
Okay.
Oh, I get to hear Allie's beautiful voice. I'm so excited.
All right. Hello, friends, and welcome back to Those Nicest Kids in Town. I am your host, Isaac Quentin Wilson, or as many of you once knew me as, IQ. This, of course, is a show where we look back on my time within the Corny Collins show and recount some of my fondest memories.
Wait, I'm so sorry. Did you give me the name of it? I don't think like you started with the name of it this time.
Yeah.
Oh, episode 23, A Day We'll Never Forget.
Thank you. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. You know, I am often asked, IQ, you were on the Corny Collins show for 14 consecutive seasons since its heyday. What would you say is your most memorable moment? And well, to that I say, as you have seen throughout the last season and a half of the show, there have been many. Whether it be the infamous day Amber Von Tussle had a wardrobe malfunction, the day Brad broke his ankle while trying to complete the twist, and we had to replace him with our underscene dancer, Zach, or that time the show almost was canceled in the hopes of trying to give more coverage to 2 episodes of the Andy Griffin show. There have been a plethora of moments we have explored within the show. However, perhaps the day that sticks out in my mind the most occurred on September 29th of the 3rd season of the Corny Collins show. It's a day many of us will forever remember fondly. Most of you are probably familiar with the beginning events of this day. The courageous Tracy Turnblad had just wowed everyone on the Corny Collins show with a performance so effortless and stunning it was impossible to resist. However, what you don't know is what happened the second the show had concluded. We had just got done adding Tracy into our roll call, and as the way most of our stories go, Amber Von Tussle was snarkily jealous, but today was a different kind of jealousy. Normally, she would be upset over other girls flirting with Link, or the camera panning over to Grace instead of her, which Velma was very quick to notice. But her jealousy towards Tracy was a whole different animal. This was someone who was so confident and optimistic about what she was doing, and had such a strong belief system that Amber simply couldn't stand it. So the show ends, and we are all called backstage after Velma, with the typical scowl on her face, says we're off. I remember afterwards, we were told that the ratings for this episode were the highest they've ever seen. And as a reward, they decided to let us order food from the local malt shop across the street. We were all excited, as we normally didn't get treated to this kind of food until hours after the show had ended. I think I had ordered a lime Ricky that day, which is a drink I had been wanting to try for a while and very much lived up to the immense hype surrounding it. I remember Tracy had gotten a White Cow, which many of our other castmates had divulged in. The importance of these drinks will be revealed later, but as you can imagine, it was quite a delightful time. However, the mood changed when Amber, as usual, wanted to be the center of attention. We were all talking about the show and how excited we were about both the ratings and having Tracy on the show. And she then said something along the lines of, "Everyone loves Tracy, don't they?" in a very sarcastic tone. She then grabbed her milkshake, stormed over, and nudged Tracy and told us, "Well, you'll love your new ratings even more if she was covered in vanilla." She then went and dumped the milkshake all over Tracy. At first, everyone was shocked and didn't know what to do. They had seen Amber mad before, but never to this level of jealousy. But eventually one of our castmates, Madison, came over and called her out and grabbed her blonde hair and poured her soda fountain phosphate all over it. Pretty soon, what started as a fun occasion erupted into full-blown chaos, as practically everyone was spilling milkshakes on each other, calling everyone out for the past drama and that had happened within the show. But while at first the mood was tension-filled, things changed a bit once our costume designer Jen came out and saw the mess we all were in. Well, normally this would have resulted in a reprimand. She noticed one of the drinks that hadn't been taken out was a Kapapa Flip, a drink I am guessing she has set her sights on for a while. The second she took a sip, however, the drink fell out of her hands and toppled right onto her, and we all started laughing and the fight became a lot more playful. We then heard a bit of a thud, which startled us, and we witnessed one of our castmates, Allie, must have gone off on her own. She was known to be a bit more timid than others, so she had a habit of wandering off a lot. Our stage manager, Jacob, ran out to see what had happened, and it turned out she had tripled over a power cord that our not always bright camera operator Kevin must have left in. Once Jacob saw she was okay, he and Allie also participated in the fun, as Allie's Bronx egg cream was the next to go. That entire night remains in my head as one of the best times due to just how much fun we were all having. You know, we were all hormonal teenagers and were constantly going through our own lovesick dramas. So it was nice to just for a little bit take some time to have some fun. Despite the following day, when Velma came back and realized what had happened and told us that we will never order milkshakes again, and also threatened to kick everyone off the show. Barring Amber, of course, because nepotism was always top priority to her at all times. But my friends, that is a story for another episode. Speaking of, next week I am happy to announce that I will have a guest on. Madison Kimry, the instigator of the milkshake fight herself, will be here to discuss her experiences within the show and maybe will give us some more insight on her backstage drama with Amber. But until then, I am IQ signing off, and remember, even if you weren't a part of the 60s, you can always be seen as one of the nicest kids in town. All right. Should we bring the next person in?
Yes.
All right. Hello.
Can I go? Can I start?
Yeah, so you guys will have like about 10 minutes or so.
Perfect. Okay. So, how do you want to do this? Do you want facts or do you want to hear the story?
However you think it will be best for me to give the others the information.
It's a long story, and I'm not gonna lie, there were like some weird words in there that were hard to hear. So I'm gonna do my best.
Do you have it to me?
So-
How in that case, probably facts might be better.
No, they were some of the facts you're gonna need to know. I just don't. Okay, whatever. So
Do it however I can get the information.
So this is basically a guy's show, and it's titled Episode 23, A Day We'll Never Forget. He goes, "Hi, welcome, like cool kids. I'm your host, Isaac Quentin Wilson, but most of you might know me as IQ. As you know, this is a show recounting my days on the Corny Collins show, where I was on for 14 consecutive seasons. Many of you have asked me about my most memorable moments on the show, and as we've seen from the last season and a half, there are a ton of them. Some that come to mind are when when Amber Von Tussle had a wardrobe malfunction, when Brad broke his ankle trying to do the twist and he had to be replaced by underseen dancer Zach, or when, give me a second, I can do this, I know this, or when they tried to cancel the show to give more airtime to new episodes of the Andy Griffith Show. But the most memorable moment I can think comes from September 29th, season 3 of the show, and is a day I'll never forget. Most of you know how the story begins, or how that day begins. We had Tracy, and I think her last name was Turnblatt. Tracy will be fine. We had Tracy Turnblatt on the Corny Collins show. She was someone who was enthusiastic and was mesmerizing, and people couldn't take their eyes off of her. When the show cut, everybody was so happy except for Amber Von Tussle. Amber Von Tussle is usually a very jealous person, but usually she's jealous over other things, like when other girls are flirting with Link, or when the camera pans over to Grace, which Velma, we don't know who Velma is, we just know her name is Velma, which Velma notices often. But this time was different. This time she was crazy jealous in a different way. After the show cut, and we had just added Tracy to the roll call, everyone was congratulating Tracy, saying how happy she was here, and we were told that this episode of the show had the highest ratings ever. Velma was so happy with this, she said that we could all order milkshakes from the local malt shop across the street, even though we usually didn't get these types of treats until hours after performance. I wanted to order the Lime Ricky because I had never had it, and I heard it was very good, and I wanted to see if it lived up to the hype. Tracy ordered the White Cow, and he specifically says, like, the names of these drinks will become important later. Well, everyone's drinking their milkshakes, saying how excited they are that Tracy is here, and Amber says, well, I guess everyone loves Tracy, in a sarcastic way. Then she stands up, storms over to Tracy, grabs Tracy's milkshake and says, well, I bet they like their ratings more if she was covered in vanilla, and then dumped the milkshake on Tracy. Then Madison, noticing what happened, came up to Amber, grabbed her soda fountain phosphate, and then pulled back Amber's blonde hair and dumped it on Amber. This is when chaos ensues. Milkshakes flying. It was a fun ordeal. Now it's turned to chaos. Milkshakes flying. Everyone's doing all this. It's fucking long and annoying. Doing all this bullshit. And then this costume designer, Jen, comes in and notices what's happening. And usually this would be a reprimand. Instead, Jen notices an untouched drink. This is one of the names I just couldn't hear. It was like something like flip. It was like a quick flip, like cake. I don't know. I could not understand it. Something flip. And she went to take a drink, and right as she took her first sip, she dumped it all over herself. And everyone started laughing, and the tension sort of dissolved, and the fight became just like more fun and good-natured. And as that's going on, a thud is heard. Everyone thinks it's the cast member Allie, who's a little bit more timid, likes to go off by herself. The stage manager Jacob went to go check on her and found that she tripped on a plug-in cord that not so bright cameraman Kevin must have left in. Once Allie is okay, they come back and drink, and Allie grabs her, and again, another one I couldn't quite hear. It was like butterscotch something. It was like some sort of like butterscotch something, drinks it, yummy, yummy. Fight keeps going on, and then, it stops. Everything's chilling. Even though like it all ended okay, the next day when Velma, again, we don't know who Velma is, we just know her name is Velma. When Velma finds out, she threatens to fire everybody except Amber, because nepotism is real, but that's a story for a different show. Speaking of next show, I am going to be joined next week with our very own instigator of the milkshake incident, Madison Kimry, who will recount her time on the Corny Collins show and how she feels about Amber Von Tussle. Again, can you blame us? We were all just hormonal teenagers, always stuck in our lovesick drama. Again, I'm your host, IQ, and remember, if you can't be from the 60s, you can still always be one of the nicest kids in town.
Okay, so I recalled none of that. That's a long ass story. We need to go from the beginning and just try and piece it together as much as I can.
Okay, episode 23, Day We'll Never Forget. My name is Isaac Quentin Wilson.
Okay, episode 23. Episode 23. A day I'll never forget.
A day we'll never forget.
A day we'll never forget.
I'm your host, Isaac Quentin Wilson. Isaac Quentin Wilson.
I'm your host, Isaac Quentin Wilson.
Also known as IQ.
Also known as IQ.
I was on a Corny Collins show.
Episode 23, A Day I'll Never Forget. Isaac Quentin
Wilson. TM. We're fucked.
You let me go. This is how I do it. I need to go little by little.
Isaac Quentin Wilson.
Isaac Quentin Wilson.
How much time do we have?
Maybe like a few more minutes.
That's fantastic. If we just get called out of nowhere, I'm gonna be pissed. Anyways, let's go.
Isaac Quentin Wilson. I was on the Corny Collins show. This show is about me talking about my time there.
Episode 23, A Day We'll Never Forget. Isaac Quentin Wilson. You can call me IQ. This is me recalling my time on.
You don't have to just give the facts. Like this about time on the Corny Collins show.
The time on the Corny Collins show. Got it.
I was on the Corny Collins show 14 consecutive seasons.
He was on the Corny Collins show 14 seasons in a row.
This, as you've seen for the past season and a half, a lot of memorable things happened, such as Amber Von Tussle's wardrobe malfunction, Brad breaking his ankle doing the twist and having to be replaced by Zach, and the show almost getting canceled because of the Andy Griffith show.
Okay. Episode 23, A Day We'll Never Forget. Isaac Quentin Wilson, IQ, recounting his time on the Corny Collins show, 14 seasons in a row, last season and a half, memorable moments. Amber Van Tussle wardrobe malfunction, Brad being replaced by Zach.
Breaks his ankle doing the twist.
Brad breaks his ankle doing the twist, replaced by Zach. Don't remember the last one.
Almost canceled to make way for the Andy Griffith show.
Almost canceled to make way for the Andy Griffith show.
That's a real show. That's the only reason I know this.
Okay, perfect.
The most memorable moment, though, happened on September 29th in the third season.
Most memorable moment happened September 29th, third season.
Tracy Turnblatt was on the show, and she was very memorable and mesmerizing. Everyone had their eyes on her, which made
episode 23, A Day We'll Never Forget. Isaac Quentin Wilson, IQ, recalls Corny Collins show, 14 seasons in a row, season and a half. Memorable moments, Amber Van Tussle wardrobe malfunction, Brad twisting his ankle and having Zach replace him, almost being replaced for the Andy Griffith show.
Breaking his ankle doing the twist.
Most memorable moment was there a name there?
Nope.
Okay, most memorable with Tracy Turnblatt.
It happened on September 29th in the third season.
Happened September 29th in the third season. Tracy Turnbuck mesmerizing. Yeah.
Made Amber jealous.
Made Amber jealous.
Amber is usually jealous, but for things like when girls look at Link or when the camera pans to Grace, which Velma notices.
Okay.
When the show, but this time was different. She was crazy jealous of Tracy, who had a strong belief system.
Okay. Episode 23, Day We'll Never Forget.
Can we
Isaac,
get a time check?
they don't have one.
Okay, go.
Episode 23, A Day We'll Never Forget. Isaac, Quincy,
Quentin.
Isaac, Quinton, Nelson, what the fuck? IQ.
Wilson.
IQ, 14 seasons in a row with the Corny Collins show. Last season and a half, memorable moments. Amber Van Tussle wardrobe malfunction. Brad twisting his ankle, ankle doing twist, replaced by Zach. Almost replaced by the Andy Griffith show. Memorable moment. Tracy turn black. Who's the person who's jealous of her?
Amber.
Amber is jealous of her. Grace is there.
Amber is usually jealous when girls flirt with Link or when the camera pans to Grace.
Amber is jealous when ladies flirt with Link or camera turns to Grace.
This time was different.
This time was different. She went crazy.
Yes.
Amber went crazy.
But Tracy is added to the roll call.
Tracy added the roll call.
The cast is excited and is told this episode has the highest ratings ever.
Cast is excited. We're told that this episode has the highest ratings ever.
They are getting milkshakes from the malt shop.
They're getting milkshakes from the malt shop.
IQ, us, orders a lime Ricky.
Okay, I'm gonna go from here. Episode 23, A Day We'll Never Forget. Isaac, Quentin,
Wilson.
IQ. 14 seasons in a row, season and a half memorable moments. Amber, Von Tussle, wardrobe malfunction. Brad fucks up ankle doing twist, replaced by Zach. Almost replaced by the Andy Griffith show. The day I'll never forget, September 29th?
In the third season.
September 29th in the third season. Tracy Turnbuck. It mesmerizing. Amber is jealous of when ladies flirt with Link or when the camera turns to Grace, but today was different. This day was different. Whatever. Tracy was added to the roll call. This episode had the highest ratings ever. Velma said that everyone could go to the malt shop sooner than they normally do. And IQ gets a lime Ricky.
Yes. Tracy orders a white cow.
Tracy orders a white cow.
Everyone gets their stuff and is saying how happy they are that Tracy is there.
Everyone's saying how happy they are that Tracy's there.
Amber said, well, I guess everyone loves Tracy. Sarcastically, walks over to Tracy.
Who said that? I'm sorry, Amber?
Amber. Amber said, I guess everyone loves Tracy. Sarcastically, walks to Tracy, grabs Tracy's milkshake and goes, I bet everyone, I bet they'd like their ratings more if it was covered in vanilla and then dumped the white cow milkshake
Okay.
right after.
Okay. Let me get to here. Episode 23, A Day We'll Never Forget. Isaac.
What do these people think is going on?
That we lost our goddamn minds. Episode 23, A Day We'll Never Forget. Isaac, Quinton, Quinton? Isaac, Quinton, whoever the fuck, IQ. 14 seasons in a row, season and a half, many memorable moments. Amber Von Tussle wardrobe malfunction. Brad fucks up ankle. Has Zach doing the twist. Zach replaces them. Almost replaced entirely by the Andy Griffith Show. September 29th, season 3. Tracy Turnbleck is there. Amber exists, bitter son of a bitch. Whenever Link gets flirted with by ladies, or when the camera turns to Grace, Tracy is added to the roll call. Episode with the best ratings that they've ever had. Velma has them go to malt shop early as reward because of how well it went.
They get milkshakes and are brought to the studio.
The milkshakes brought to the studio. IQ orders Lime Ricky. Tracy gets a white cow. Everyone's saying how happy they are that Tracy's there now. Velma's a bitch. Does she grab
Amber's the bitch.
Amber's a bitch? Does Amber grab Tracy's drink?
First she says, like, I guess everyone loves Tracy. And then
Amber
she walks over and grabs Tracy's milkshake.
Amber says, I guess everyone loves Tracy, grabs her drink, says, I bet the ratings would be better if you were covered in vanilla, throws the shit.
Yes. Then Madison grabs Amber's soda fountain phosphate.
Madison grabs soda fountain phosphate.
Dumps on Amber's blonde hair.
It's on Amber's blonde hair.
Chaos.
Chaos ensues.
Honestly, for the last parts, Jen, costume designer, spills drink on herself. Fight turns happy.
How much more is left from here?
Not much, I promise.
Okay, then I'll just go through everything and I'll try to recall everything.
Okay. Thud, Allie, Trip. Stage manager Jacob checks on her. Kevin, cameraman, left something plugged in.
Silly cameraman Kevin left something plugged in.
Everything's okay. Woo.
Everything's okay.
Next day, Velma threatens to fire everyone but Amber.
Next day, everyone threatens to fire everyone but Amber. Nepotism.
Next week, Madison Kimry will be on the show. Remember,
Madison will be on the show. Remember, if you can't be a kid from the 60s,
you can always be one of the nicest kids in town.
Okay, let me try and recall all of that. Okay. They think we've lost our minds. The madness is what happened.
We've been here for like 20 minutes.
Who cares? This is how I do things.
Go.
Episode 23, A Day We'll Never Forget. IQ, Isaac, Quinton, Nelson, Wilson, whatever the fuck. 14 seasons in a row. Last season and a half, memorable moments. Amber Von Tussle wardrobe malfunction. Brad fucks up ankle, doing the twist. Zach replaces. Almost replaced by Andy Griffith Show. September 29th, season 3. Wacky moment. Memorable moment. Wahoo. Tracy Turnbleck is there. Amber's there. Amber's a bitch. Amber doesn't like when ladies flirt with Link or when the camera turns to Grace. Tracy added to roll call, highest episode ever, highest ratings for the episode ever. Velma says they can get drinks ordered from the malt shop earlier than they normally do. IQ gets a lime Ricky. Tracy gets a white cow. Velma's still a bitch. Matt, everyone's saying how much they like that Tracy is there now. She says something. Amber says something like, "I'm so glad everyone likes it." That that Tracy's here or some shit. And then grabs Tracy's drink and says, "I bet the ratings would be higher if you were covered in vanilla," and then throws the drink on her. Madison grabs whose hair?
Oh, she grabbed the soda fountain phosphate.
She grabs the soda fountain phosphate, pours it in someone's blonde hair.
Amber.
Pours it in Amber's blonde hair. Everything goes to chaos. Jen spills drink on herself.
Costume designer.
Jen, the costume designer, spills drink on herself. Chaos happens. Everything becomes normal. Allie, a thud. Allie. Jacob. Stage manager. Jacob, stage manager, comes out, makes sure she's okay. Kevin, camera guy, silly, left something plugged in. Next day, Velma threatens to fire everyone but Amber. Nepotism. Next week, Corny Collins show. Madison will be
Not Corny Collins, because no, Madison will be on this guy's show. IQ.
Madison will be on the IQ show. We're calling the Corny Collins show. What happened from her, and if you can't be someone from the 60s, what the fuck's the last sentence?
You might not be from the 60s.
You might not
but
be
you
from the
can
60s.
Always be one of the nicest kids in town.
If you might not be someone from the 60s, but you can always be one of the nicest kids in town.
And scene.
I hope that Chrissy hates me.
I hate you.
All right, are you ready to bring her in?
Can I leave? Can I leave?
Can I just
If
go?
you want to. Honestly, it's only our first season. We're just gonna give you guys whatever time you want.
I hope the others got that.
I think we're the first one to go.
All right, you guys ready to bring her in?
Yes.
Okay.
Can that quickly be confirmed? Are we the first ones to go?
Yes.
Then give everyone as much time as they need. This should be a challenge about memorization, not time crunch.
Chrissy,
Right.
I'm so sorry that took so long.
I'm not.
I was wondering.
I'm not.
Adios.
Did she like act? Did she sing and dance? Like what?
No, the story's long as fuck, Chrissy.
Oh god. Y'all had me up late.
Look, I'm sorry, but
Okay,
there's so much.
So yeah, what he told you, you're gonna tell to the next person.
Oh boy. Okay.
All right.
Okay, so I'm going to start by recalling everything I can remember, and then we'll make sure that you can remember everything that I remember.
Okay.
Okay, so this is episode 23, A Day We'll Never Forget. Isaac Quentin Wilson, they call him IQ. It's this guy's show. He was on the Corny Collins show for 14 seasons in a row. The last season and a half had a lot of memorable moments, including Amber Von Tussel's wardrobe malfunction. Brady, Brad, we'll go Brad. Fucks up his ankle doing the twist. Zach replaces him. And then there's that they almost got replaced entirely by the Andy Griffith show. But there's one moment that you'll never forget. September 29th, season 3. There's this chick named Tracy Turnblad. She's mesmerizing. Everyone loves her. And there's this bitter bitch named Amber. Amber hates when anyone gets attention, especially when Link gets attention from ladies flirting with him, or when the camera pans to Grace. But they did the show on this day. Tracy gets added to the roll call, and Velma tells them that this is the highest rating show they've ever had. And to celebrate, she'll be ordering getting drinks for them from the malt shop across the street to be brought over, which happened hours earlier than it normally does.
Wait, who's getting drinks? Am I allowed to ask?
You can. Everyone, like
Okay.
the group that did the show on this day.
And this is the Corny Collins show?
Yes, this is recalling an event that happened during the Corny Collins show.
Okay.
IQ. This story is told in the as IQ retelling it. But I'm just gonna say IQ got a lime Ricky, and Tracy got a white cow. Everyone's talking after. Everyone's saying how happy that they are that Tracy's here. That she did great. That everyone's happy she's there. But Amber's still a bitch. And she says some sarcastic comment about, I'm so happy that, she says sarcastically, I'm so happy that everyone loves that Tracy's here. Goes over, grabs her drink, and says, I bet the ratings would be better if you were covered in vanilla or something around there, and throws a drink on her.
Oop.
Chaos ensues.
Amber threw the drink on Tracy.
Amber threw the drink on Tracy. Then Madison grabs the soda phosphate or something phosphate. That's all I remember. Takes it and pours it on Amber's blonde hair. Bunch of shit happens. Can't remember. Jen is there. Jen, prod Jen.
Okay.
I don't remember. She has a role. I don't
This is
remember. I don't remember the role she has. Eventually everything calms down. And then there's just a thud. It's Allie. She tripped on something. Also don't remember the role she has. I do remember Jacob's role. Jacob, the after show dude. He was stage manager, checks to make sure that Allie's okay. Kevin, camera guy, accidentally left camera plugged in, hence why she tripped over. Kevin is silly. Everything calms down. The next day, Velma threatens to fire everyone except for Amber, and all I got was nepotism. After that, I just got nepotism. And
Delma's like Kristen Chenoweth's character.
I just heard a story. I don't have context.
She like a white blonde lady? Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah. Because I only know because blonde hair poured on drink. Yeah.
Curious.
Next week, this is IQ talking. Next week's show, Madison Kimry will be retelling her time on the Corey Challenge show and giving her side of what occurred. And then the last line was, if you can't be a kid from the 60s, you can at least be one of the coolest kids in town or something around there. I don't, if there's a line that you remember that sounds like that from the show, by all means fucking help me. But that's what I remember, and that's the end of the story.
So now can I ask you clarifying questions or no?
Oh yes, we can do whatever we want to get you to remember everything that I just told you.
Okay, that's why it takes a long time. Okay.
That's why, because I looked at Julia and said, okay, we're gonna start. She told me the whole thing, and I said, I don't remember shit you just told me. We're gonna go from the beginning now, and I'm gonna slowly try and piece the entire story together.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, okay, let me play back what you said. You tell me if it sounds like what you said.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, so the narrator is called IQ.
That's what they call him, Isaac Quentin Wilson.
Damn. All right, I'll try to remember that. Isaac Quentin Wilson,
But they call him IQ.
IQ. And he's recapping episode 23.
No,
Of
this is his show. For his show,
Oh,
it's episode 23, A Day We'll Never Forget.
okay. This is his show, episode 23, A Day We'll Never Forget. And he's talking about an interaction he saw on the Corny Collins show.
Yes.
Okay. So what I remember was Tracy Turnblatt was performing, right?
Yeah.
And she did very well and had a lot of people supporting her. And because of that, Amber got jealous and started talking some shit, right?
Yeah.
And then this is where it gets phasey because a bunch of Proud members just rolled in.
Yes.
So Madison threw a drink with sodium phosphate onto Amber's hair, right?
Something phosphate. Yeah. Poured it onto
Was it Amber?
Amber's blonde hair. Yeah.
Okay. So that got Amber really pissed. And then Jen was also there.
And poured a drink on herself. I don't know if I said that.
You might have, but I forgot.
Regardless, at some point poured a drink on herself throughout all of this.
Jen poured a drink on herself. Allie was there and tried to help, but tripped and fell over something.
All I know, thud, she's down.
Okay. And then Kevin was the cameraman.
Yes.
But what did he do? Just film it?
Well, Jacob's stage crew goes to check on Allie, make sure she's okay. Reason she fell, Kevin left camera plugged in, is silly.
How you gonna do that shit to your girlfriend? All right. So okay, so Kev's the cameraman, leaves the thing plugged in. Allie trips and falls. She's down. Jacob goes to check on Allie. And then what? And then okay, this is where I forget.
I'm gonna be honest. A lot of things in the middle between the beginning of what IQ said and the story itself were left out.
Okay.
I think let's go back to the beginning. I'm gonna do the thing that Julia did with me. I'll go to the beginning to retell what I said, and then we'll slowly try to get you to say it all in one go.
Period. Okay.
Okay, so this is episode 23, A Day We'll Never Forget. This is Isaac
Quentin Wilson.
Quentin Wilson. He was on the Corny Collins show for 14 seasons in a row, but the last season and a half had some memorable moments. Yeah, you recall
You want me
everything.
to say it back?
Yes.
All right. So this is Isaac Quentin Wilson, or they call him IQ. This is his show. He was on the Corny Collins show for 14 seasons. And he had a lot of interesting memories, and this story that he's going to tell is one of them.
Right, especially from the last season and a half.
The last season and a half. Okay.
Also, this is the episode of his show, episode 23, A Day We'll Never Forget.
A Day We'll Never Forget. 23.
Episode 23, A Day We'll Never Forget. I'm just gonna say the 3 memorable moments, and then I'm gonna have you try and recall everything again.
Okay, bet.
And 3 memorable moments: Amber Van Tussel's wardrobe malfunction, Brad fucking up his ankle doing the twist, and having Zach replace him, and the show almost being replaced by the Andy Griffith Show. Try and recall everything.
Okay, so Isaac Quentin Wilson, otherwise known as IQ, is doing his own show. This is episode 23, A Day We'll Never Forget. Is that right? Okay. Isaac, or IQ, was previously on the Corny Collins Show for 14 seasons and had a lot of memorable moments, of which this show is going to talk about. Some that stand out are Amber's wardrobe malfunction, Brad twisting his ankle while doing a twist, and what's the last one?
The show almost being replaced by the Andy Griffith Show.
Andy Griffith. Okay. And at one point, the show was almost replaced by the Andy Griffith Show. Okay, so IQ, Isaac Quentin Wilson, otherwise known as IQ. This is the 23rd episode of his own show, and it's titled "A Day We'll Never Forget." And he is recapping his time on the Corny Collins Show, where he was on for 14 seasons and had a lot of memorable moments. Some standout moments are Amber's wardrobe malfunction, Brad twisting his ankle while trying to do the twist, and the time where the show unfortunately almost got replaced by the Andy Griffith Show. Did I get it?
Yes.
Oh my God, this is like, okay, we just keep repeating shit. This is why it took y'all so long. Okay.
Yes, precisely. So one moment that stands out in particular was on September 29th during season 3. And it involved Tracy Turnbleck and Amber. Amber's a bitch, and didn't like when ladies flirted with Link, and when the camera panned to Grace.
You said Grace? You said Grace?
Grace, yes.
Okay.
Do you want me to give more information? You want to go for it?
Yeah, let me play on that. All right, so we got Isaac Quentin Wilson, otherwise known as IQ. This is his show. It's the 23rd episode, titled "A Day We'll Never Forget," recapping his time at the Corny Collins Show for the past 14 seasons. Particularly things from the last season and a half that stand out are Amber's wardrobe malfunction, Brad fucking up his ankle doing the twist, and the time it almost got replaced by the Corny Collins Show. Or I'm sorry, the Andy Griffith Show. This particular event happened on September 29th in season 3, and this is an altercation that happened between Tracy Turnblatt and Amber, who people call a bitch.
Oh, they don't. I do.
Are you guys ready to bring in Marcelo?
Absolutely not.
Wait, what happened?
She's asking if we want to bring in Marcelo if we're not only as if we're not only halfway through recalling the story.
Tell him, give him 5 minutes. Okay.
Tell him we're gonna be a minute or several.
Marcelo's like Jesus. Okay, so all right, so Keegan calls her a bitch because she gets very jealous when girls in the audience flirt with Link.
Just people flirt with Link. I don't know audience, just people.
People flirt with Link, and something about Grace.
When the camera pans to Grace.
And when the camera pans out to Grace, okay.
Also with the memorable moments, Brad got replaced by Zach when his ankle fuck up happened.
Brad, Zach, okay, Survivor 42 and 41. Zach. What was that?
Okay,
go ahead.
So Tracy Turnbleck got added to the roll call, and Velma told everyone that this was their highest rating show they've ever had. And to celebrate, they were going to get drinks from the malt shop across the street brought over. And IQ got a lime Ricky, and Tracy got a white cow.
Okay. Should I do that part?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna start from the middle because I think I have the first part down, but I'll do it all again at the end.
Go from the memorable moments, because I think we just want to make sure you got that. Go from memorable moments.
Okay, so the most memorable moments that stand out in the past season and a half are Amber's wardrobe malfunction, Brad messing up his ankle while doing the twist, and then being replaced by Zach. And then when the show was almost canceled and replaced with the Andy Griffith Show. The episode that IQ is focusing on here takes place on September 29th in season 3. And it's kind of centers around an altercation between Tracy Turnblad and Amber. Tracy Turnblad has just been added to the lineup.
Roll call.
The roll call. What's the difference? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm trying to use the words that they used.
Okay.
Or granted, I was told.
No, period. That's good because I'm like a synonym person, so that's good. Okay. So Tracy Turnblad is added to the roll call. Right? Is that the word?
Yeah.
Okay. And everybody's very excited, and Velma decides that she wants to take everybody out for drinks at the malt shop across the street. So when they go, IQ gets a red limeade. No. Tracy gets a white cow.
IQ gets a lime Ricky.
The fuck is that?
I get no fucking idea.
I Google.
I don't know anything about any of this shit. I just telling a story, man.
You're too young for this. Okay.
I'm 21. What the fuck?
I'm playing.
Oh my god, Chris.
I remember when you were 19. You're still a baby.
19 didn't have a fucking car.
Lime Ricky is swimwear. All right, let me not get this out. Okay, Lime Ricky. Lime like green, Ricky like that guy that lives in Philly with the bike. Okay. Lime Ricky.
Okay. So,
Right, so they go to the malt shop. IQ gets a Lime Ricky. Tracy gets a white cow. Does that sound right?
No, they get drinks from the malt shop across the street brought to them.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
okay.
that was a mistake I made too. No, they get drinks brought from across the street.
That sounds like Grubhub. Okay. Ricky drink.
You can't take notes.
I'm not taking it. I'm looking it up.
You can't probably do that either.
I just want to know what it is.
We can do that later.
I have. There's nothing here. It's gone. Okay. Go ahead.
What the fuck is going on?
I wanted to know what it was. Anyway, continue.
Okay. So everyone's talking to Tracy about how happy they are that she's here. And how grateful they are that she's a part of the group now. Amber, still a bitch, says something sarcastically around the lines of, I'm so happy that you're here, Tracy. Walks over to her, grabs Tracy's drink, and says, I bet the ratings would be better if you were covered in vanilla, or something around those lines.
Ooh, okay.
Throws the drink on her. Everything goes to chaos. Madison, like Prod Madison, grabs soda phosphate, and takes the drink and pours it onto Amber's blonde hair. Bunch of chaos ensues from here. Bunch of shit flying everywhere. Don't know anything that happened here, except that Jen was there and poured a drink on herself. I don't know her role in all of this. Oh wait, costume designer. I think I do know her role.
Costume.
We're gonna go with that, regardless. I think she had something to do with costumes. If it's wrong, it's wrong. But it came to mind. Rather have wrong information than no information here. And then thud. I'm gonna stop at thud.
Madison threw the drink on Amber.
Madison poured the drink on Amber's blonde hair.
Got it. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go back to where I was before. Okay, so the show was almost canceled and turned into the Andy Griffith Show.
Yes.
Shortly thereafter, IQ talks about a specific episode that takes place on September 29th in season 3, and in this episode is an altercation between Tracy Turnblad and Amber. The community finds out that Tracy Turnblad is given a spot on the roll call. Amber, meanwhile, seems jealous. Keaton described her as a bitch. She gets very jealous when people flirt with Link, and also when the camera pans to Grace. Shortly thereafter, when Tracy Turnblatt was added to the roll call, Velma ordered drinks from a malt shop across the street that were delivered. IQ got a lime Ricky, and Tracy got a white cow. And then the drinks came, and Amber said something along the lines of like, just real fake, phony. Tracy, I'm so happy for you with this role, but the ratings would be even better if you were covered in white. And she
Covered in vanilla.
vanilla. Okay.
Yeah.
Vanilla.
Sorry.
So that's a white cow's like a vanilla shake. Okay.
Yeah.
So it would be better if you were covered in vanilla. Dumps the shake on her that she got. Suddenly Grace is there, or not Grace, Madison is there, sees what happens, takes the soda phosphate, dumps it on Amber's blonde hair. Jen, the costume designer, is also there. She just dumps a drink on herself in reaction. And then do we go to Allie falling? Where are we now?
Yeah, I just stopped at Thud. Then Thud, Allie, don't remember what she does, on the ground. Jacob, the stage manager, goes to make sure that she is okay. Kevin, camera guy, left camera plugged in. He's silly. Then the next day, then everything calms down from there, and then the next day, Velma threatens to fire everyone except for Amber. Nepotism.
Okay. Okay, so after the drinks are thrown, suddenly we hear thud. It's Allie. She tripped and fell. While Jacob from the after show went to check on Allie, we find out that she fell because Kevin, the cameraman, kept the camera plugged in and she tripped over the wire, I guess.
Yeah. Jacob in the story is the stage manager.
Oh, okay. Fuck. All right. So Jen's a costume designer. Jacob's the stage manager. Kevin's the camera guy. Allie's Allie. All right. Allie falls. So, all right. So Kevin's the cameraman. He kept the camera plugged into the damn wall. That's why his girl fell. He's silly because of that. After all of this commotion, Thelma threatens to shut it down.
Threatens to fire everyone except for Amber. And then all I got after that was the word nepotism.
Okay. Nepotism.
Nepotism.
Which means when you hire people in your family for work.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense now. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you, Julia, for not clarifying that for the 20 fucking minutes we're talking about this goddamn story. Anyways,
All
what
right.
a shot. We're almost done.
Should I go through the whole thing?
I'm not done. We're
Oh, there's
almost done.
more.
There's
After
more.
nepotism?
After nepotism. Next week, Madison Kimry will be on IQ's show to recall her account of what happened during the Corny Collins show. And then IQ closes it by saying, roughly, if you can't be someone from the 60s, you can at least be one of the coolest kids in town.
You can't be someone from the 60s.
Story.
Keen, you did so good.
Look, Julia got pissed at me when I suggested this, but this is and it takes forever, and I apologize to Kevin and Allie for this, but it's the best way to get as much information.
But we're not going to be penalized for taking a long time?
We went first.
Oh, okay.
We were the first tribe to go, so the tribes will just be able to follow our lead. So you try and recall everything. I'll make sure you have it, and then we talk to Marcelo, and I apologize to Marcelo and Sean a little bit.
Okay. All right. So the story that we're going to be talking about is narrated by Isaac Quinton Wilson. Is that right? Okay. People call him IQ. He is sharing episode 23 of his show, and it's called A Day We'll Never Forget. And this episode, or like his show, shares his experience over 14 seasons on the Corny Collins show, particularly the last season and a half, where there's a lot of like memorable events that happen that stand out to him. Some of those being Amber's wardrobe malfunction, Brad tripping and busted up his ankle while trying to do the twist and then being replaced by Zach. And then also the time where the show was almost replaced with the Andy Griffin show. The episode that he's going to focus on here takes place on September 29th during the 3rd season of the show. And it chronicles a altercation between Tracy Turnblatt and Amber. Amber can be described by Keaton as a bitch. She gets really, really jealous often, especially when people flirt with Link and when the camera pans to Grace. The altercation with Tracy happened, well, it started because Tracy was given a position on the roll call, or Tracy was cast, whatever, on the roll call. And Thelma decided to celebrate by ordering drinks from a malt shop across the street. When they ordered the drinks, IQ got a lime Ricky and Tracy got a white cow, just like a vanilla shake. When they all go to talk, Amber just be acting real jealous and petty and says something like, you know, Tracy, I'm so happy for you. I'm so excited we're here. But I think the ratings would be even better if you were covered in vanilla. And when she says that, she dumps the shake on Tracy. And then Madison from production sees this happen and in retaliation dumps a sodium phosphate, sodium or soda, we don't know, phosphate.
I'm saying soda. We should just go with that.
All right. On Amber's blonde hair. And then Jen from Prod is also there. She's the costume designer. And in reaction, she dumps a soda or a drink on herself. Is it a soda or a drink? Do we know?
Just a drink. Also, like between the Madison pouring and Jen, just say that there's chaos. I don't know if it matters, but it helps. I think it helps tie everything. Just say that there was chaos. During the chaos, Jen pours drink on self.
So during the chaos, Jen pours a drink on herself.
Yes.
And then suddenly after all of this, everyone just hears a huge thud. And it is Allie from production, and she has tripped and fallen onto the ground. Jacob, the stage manager, goes to check on Allie and sees her on the ground. Turns out it's because Kevin, the cameraman, forgot to unplug the camera from the wall and Allie tripped on a cord. Kevin's silly. After all of this, Madison Kimry will be recapping her experiences next week on episode 15. I don't know what is it?
We weren't given it. Just on IQ show, Madison will be recalling her events of the Corny Collins show.
She will be recalling her experience. Oh, she'll be recalling her side of this story.
Yes.
And then it's like, if you can't be a 60s kid, be one of the coolest kids in town. Is that what it said?
Roughly.
Okay.
I think that's everything.
Oh my God. All right.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
I think Marcelo's finally ready. I am now also going to leave.
All right.
Allie's like, Jesus Christ, get the fuck out.
Also, yeah, Kevin's hosting the other tribe, and then there's still one more tribe to go.
Keaton, we did go.
All right, I'll bring in
it's gonna be good.
Marcelo.
All right.
Bye, Keaton.
Bye. I'm gonna wait for Marcelo and just say, I'm just gonna simply tell
Say,
him good
like,
luck and I'm gonna dip.
I'll do the same thing with Sean. I'll be like, I'm sorry it took so long. Okay, there's Marcelo.
Marcelo, I apologize. It took forever. I will be leaving. I wish you the best of luck.
Hey, Marcelo.
Hey,
Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So I'm going to tell you the story. And if I'm not looking at the cameras because I'm like thinking,
That's
and
okay.
then we can go about it however you want. I repeated a bunch of stuff back to Keaton to make sure I had it right. So,
Okay.
Okay. So this story is narrated by a kid named Isaac Quentin Wilson, but people call him IQ. And this is episode 14 of his show, and it's titled, oh shit, I forget what it's titled. A Grand Old Time? No. Okay, I'll try to come back to the title.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, it's episode 23. It's episode 23 of his show. And he is recounting his experiences on the Corny Collins show for 14 seasons that he was on it. Particularly the last season and a half was when a lot of memorable events happened. And some of those events that stand out to him in his memory are the following: Amber's wardrobe malfunction, Brad tripping and fucking up his ankle and then being replaced by Zach, and then the show almost getting canceled and replaced with the Andy Griffin show. When he starts this episode, it takes place on September 29th in the third season of the show. And he is recalling an altercation that took place between Tracy Turnblatt and Amber, who Keaton described as a bitch. That's what he said. I don't know if that's what it said. Amber, according to Keaton, is kind of a bitch, and she gets really jealous when people flirt with Link, and also when the camera pans to Grace. And in this particular story, Tracy Turnblatt is offered a position on the roll call. I guess like cast in a show, offered a position on the roll call. And to celebrate, Thelma orders a bunch of drinks from the malt shop across the street and has them delivered. IQ was there and ordered a lime Ricky, which is apparently a cocktail, and Tracy got a White Cow, like a milkshake. And then the drinks came, and Amber was kind of just being like jealous and kind of petty and was like, oh, Tracy, I'm so excited for you. I'm happy that we're here. But, the ratings would be so much better if you were covered in vanilla. And then she dumps the milkshake on to Tracy. And then in retaliation, Madison is there again. I think this is the Madison from production of this game. And Madison takes a soda phosphate. We think that's what was said. We're going with soda. A soda phosphate, and dumps it on Amber's blonde hair. And then everything that ensues after that is chaos. Jen from production is also there, and in retaliation, she just throws a drink onto herself. And then chaos ensues some more. After all of this goes down, suddenly we hear a loud thump, and that is Allie, who has fallen onto the floor. She tripped over something. Jacob, the stage manager. Oh, Jen's the costume designer. Sorry, Jen's the costume designer. Jacob, the stage manager, goes to help Allie, who's fallen, and realizes that the reason Allie fell was because Kevin, the cameraman, forgot to unplug the camera from the wall, and Allie tripped on it and fell. Kevin's silly. So in response to all this, Thelma threatens to just shut down and cancel the whole show. And then all we got after that was nepotism. Just nepotism. That's an easy word to remember, I guess.
Nepotism. Okay.
And then next week on IQ's show, they're going to have Madison Kimry come on and give her side of the story about this. And the slogan is something like, if you can't be one of the cool, or if you can't be a 60s kid, be one of the coolest kids in town. Whew. Okay.
Okay.
How do you want to review this?
Okay, so I'm just gonna remember what I remember, and then we can backtrack to that.
The
So
only thing I forgot was the name of the episode, and it might come to me if I keep talking about it.
okay, so this story is narrated by Isaac. What's the Wilson
Isaac Quinton, Quinty or Quinton?
IQ? I know it's Isaac Quinton or whatever.
Wilson.
What's Wilson?
Yeah.
Isaac Quinton Wilson. So this story is narrated by Isaac Quinton Wilson. He goes by IQ, and this is the 23rd season.
Is the 23rd episode.
The 23rd episode. Okay. Isaac Quinton Wilson, IQ, is the narrator, and this is the 23rd episode of season 14, is what I heard.
I think it's just the 23rd episode.
Okay,
And then
no
there's
worries.
14 seasons of the Corny Collins show that he was in or whatever.
Yeah, so he was in 14 seasons of the Corny Collins show. And so we're talking about how he is hosting a show. And they are talking about one time when, and Amber's a bitch. Amber's a bitch and sometimes get jealous when people talk to Link. And Tracy was added to the roll call, which is like the cast. And there's Thelma, nepotism, but that's later. But Thelma decides to take them all to get drinks or something. And IQ gets the lime Ricky, and Tracy gets a vanilla milkshake. I'm not sure what that was called.
It was a white cow.
White Cow, a vanilla milkshake called the White Cow. Amber goes to Tracy and is like, congratulations on getting the roll call. What would be better is if you were covered in vanilla, and then throws the drink onto Tracy. And then Madison Kimry is like, tries to get into that gig and pours soda on Amber's blonde hair. And then Jen wants to get involved, and Jen's the costume designer. However, Jen throws a drink on herself, and then there's a thump, and it's Allie who fell. And Jacob, the stage manager, says that Allie fell because Kevin, the cameraman, tripped or didn't unplug the thing. And then Thelma threatens to cancel it so it can be replaced by the Andy Griffin show. And Thelma, and then there's something about nepotism. So there's also something about IQ replacing Zach or something. I don't know. I heard, or no, Brad being replaced by Zach or something. There was something about that.
Damn, you did so much better than me in the first recall. All right. So I'll tell you, okay. All right, these are the things I think you missed. So, okay, after you talk about like IQ, this is the 23rd episode of his show, and it recounts his 14 seasons on the Corny Collins show, particularly the last season and a half, had a lot of memorable stuff happen. And then that's when the three things are. So it's Amber's wardrobe malfunction, Brad tripping. Brad fucking up his ankle during the Brad dancing the twist and messing up his ankle, being replaced by Zach. That's what you remembered.
Okay, yes.
And then the third one, there's like three examples. The third one is the show almost being replaced with the Andy Griffith show.
So Isaac Quinton Wilson is recounting 23 seasons of the Corny Collins show. No, sorry, this is episode 23, and he's recounting his 14 seasons on the Corny Collins show, but he's recounting the last season and a half where the most memorable things happen, i.e. being Amber's wardrobe malfunction, Brad messing up his ankle, doing the twist and being replaced by Zach, and them almost being replaced by the Andy Griffin show.
You got it.
Okay.
And then the episode he's talking about now, in case it's a question, is September 29th, and it's during the 3rd season.
September 29th during the 3rd season. Okay. So he's talking about how Amber was a bitch and that Tracy was added to the roll call. And there's something I'm missing about Thelma.
Thelma, I guess to celebrate.
Oh, yes, to celebrate the success of the Corny Collins show. Takes them all to get drinks. And then IQ gets the lime Ricky.
Apparently she ordered them from across the street, and then they were like brought over.
The malt shop.
The malt shop, period.
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
So to celebrate the success, Thelma orders from the malt shop and IQ gets a lime Ricky. Tracy gets the cow's moo. What is that called again?
A white cow.
A white cow. So she gets the white cow, vanilla white cow, vanilla white cow, vanilla white cow. So she gets the white cow, and then Amber goes to Tracy and is like, "Oh my gosh, so excited for you. What would be better? The ratings might get low, but what would be better is if you were covered in vanilla," and then pours a drink on her. And then Madison does the thing. Jen does her thing. Then we hear a thump. Jacob says that the thump is because of Kevin's cameraman. And then Thelma threatens to shut this whole thing down because of nepotism.
I don't know if it's because of nepotism, but all Keaton remember was nepotism after that.
Nepotism.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't think it was because of nepotism, but there might have been something.
He's like, all I remember was nepotism. Okay, wait. And then what was the thing that I was gonna say? Oh yeah, she said the ratings would be better if you were covered in vanilla, throws the shake on her, and then Madison throws the soda phosphate. He feels like you need to say phosphate.
Soda phosphate.
Phosphate on Amber's blonde hair, because I guess phosphate can like fuck up someone's hair color or highlights, or I don't know. So yeah, and then I think everything else you had. Jen, the costume designer, throws a drink on herself. Then the word chaos was used a bunch. Allie, the thump was Allie falling. You got it. Jacob checked on her. It was because Kevin. Yeah, and then nepotism. And then at the end, he didn't remember exactly what it said, but it said something like, if you can't be from the 60s, be one of the coolest kids in town. I remember the coolest kids in town part, but not the 60s part exactly.
You can't be from the 60s, be one of the coolest kids in town. Okay, so let me go back because my thing is repetition just for my brain. So
no, you're doing it good. Took so long.
This story is narrated by Isaac Quinton Wilson, aka IQ, from the Corny Collins Show. This is episode 23. He's reminiscing about the 14 seasons of the Corny Collins Show, and he is focusing on the last season and a half, specifically episode 3, which was on September 29th. And he's talking about how Amber was a bitch and that Tracy was added to the roll call, which is like the cast.
Don't forget to mention the last season and a half. Sorry to interrupt you. Like the last
No, you're
season,
good.
a
Which
half
had the
of
most memorable.
You got it. There you go.
Yeah.
You remember the 3 things?
Yeah. Amber's malfunction, Brad messing his ankle doing the twist and being replaced by Zach, and then them almost being canceled and replaced by the Andy Griffin show. So I'm gonna go back. So this is a story that was narrated by Isaac Quinton Wilson, aka IQ, and he is reminiscing about this is episode 23, and he's reminiscing about 14 seasons, the Corny Collins Show, and he's specifically mentioning the last season and a half where there was a lot of memorable moments. There was 3 memorable moments, one being Amber's wardrobe malfunction, number 2 being Brad getting hurt by doing the twist and hurting his ankle, being replaced by Zach, and then them being almost canceled and being replaced by the Andy Griffith Show. Then we go and they're talking about when Tracy was added to the roll call, Amber was being a bitch, but Thelma wanted to celebrate. So she went to the malt shop and ordered some drinks for them. She ordered for IQ a lime Ricky, and then there was the White Cow, which is the vanilla milkshake that Tracy got. Amber went to Tracy and said, "Oh my gosh, you know what would be better for the ratings is if you were covered in vanilla." So she throws her vanilla drink onto Tracy, and Madison Kimry gets really upset and throws soda phosphate on Amber's blonde hair because phosphate can ruin someone's hair or whatever. And then Jen wants to join the party, so just throws her drink on herself, and Jen's the costume designer. Then we hear a loud thump, and it's Allie who fell, and Jacob, who's the stage manager, runs to her aid and finds out that she fell because Kevin, the cameraman, tripped her. And this all happens and chaos ensues, and there's so much chaos that Thelma threatens to shut everything down. And then we go back to IQ, who says that next week on the episode, he's going to interview Madison Kimry to hear her side of the story. And then there's a saying that if you can't be a 60s kid, make sure you're one of the coolest kids in town.
Yeah. I think that's it. Okay, wait, there was two things. Let's see, I was like, let me write it. I'm not allowed to write them down. So let me just get them from my head. Okay, the two things forgotten were when the specific story starts, right? And you mentioned like Amber's a bitch, or that's what Keaton said about her, that she gets very jealous when people flirt with Link.
Yeah.
And when the camera pans to Grace. I don't know who Grace is, but
Grace is one of the after show hosts. Great when
so all these
Amber-
production people are in the story.
yeah, Amber gets jealous when people flirt with Link, and then when the camera pans to Grace.
And then nepotism is somewhere at the end, like the show when she threatened to shut the show down. Nepotism.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I think that was everything. Do you want to say it again, or do you feel?
I'm going to say it again, and then they'll probably be
Yeah.
it. So this story is narrated by Isaac Quinton Wilson, aka IQ, who is on the Corny Collins show. And there has been 14 seasons of the Corny Collins show, and he's reminiscing.
It's his 23rd episode.
Okay, got it. So this story is narrated by Isaac Quinton Wilson, aka IQ, who's been on the Corny Collins show. There's been 14 seasons of the Corny Collins show. This is episode 23, and he's focusing on the last season and a half of the show, where there was actually 3 memorable moments. There was Amber's wardrobe malfunction, Brad doing the twist and hurting his ankle and being replaced by Zach, and then them almost being replaced by the Andy Griffith show. So he's reminiscing about how Amber's a bitch because she doesn't like when people flirt with Link or when the camera pans to Grace. So Tracy gets added to the roll call, which is the cast list. So Thelma wants to celebrate, so she orders from the malt shop a lime Ricky for IQ and a White Cow for Tracy, which is a vanilla milkshake. Tracy goes to Amber goes to Tracy and is like, wow, you know what would be really great is if you were for the ratings, as if you were covered in vanilla. Throws the vanilla drink on, or the vanilla milkshake onto Tracy, and Madison Kimry is like, that's not cool. So she's basically throws soda phosphate onto Amber's blonde hair. Phosphate's an important word because it can grow in someone's hair. And then Jen wants to join the party, so throws something on herself. Jen's the costume designer. Jacob's the stage manager. And he hears a thump, and it's Allie who just fell. And Jacob runs to Allie and finds out that she fell because Kevin, the cameraman, didn't unplug the camera. And then Thelma wants to shut this whole thing down because something about nepotism, and because chaos ensues and chaos ensues and chaos ensues. So the main goal of this whole thing is, if you are not a 60s kid, try to be the coolest kids in town. And then next week on IQ's show, they're going to talk to Madison Kimry, who she's going to give her side of the story.
Nailed it. The only
All
thing
right.
I forgot was what the episode is titled.
What's the episode title?
That's the
Oh, you
only
don't
thing. That's the only
Oh,
thing.
no, you're all good.
It's episode 23. It's something. Oh, what a day. I don't know. Memory or day. Hopefully
I'll
that's
say,
not.
oh, what a memory. Oh, what a day. Oh, grand old time. I'll try my best to just like say random things so they hear it. So,
All right. Thank you. Sorry it took so long.
No, it's okay.
no
Ready,
worries.
ready to bring in
Actually,
Sean?
this one went quicker than the last two, I think.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring in Sean.
All right.
I'm gonna say good luck to Sean, and then I'm gonna try to go to sleep, but I'll probably just be sitting there waiting to see like what happens. Hey, Sean. Sorry it took forever. Okay, they're there. Good luck. All right, I'll see you guys. Good luck.
I'll see you. Hey,
Sorry, that's where
Sean.
my cable went on.
Okay, let me know when you're ready. All right, you ready?
I am.
Okay, so this story didn't really get the title, but it's either a grand old time or once upon a time or this memory or something with either memory or time, whatever. Didn't hear the title, so I'll just get to the parts I didn't know. This story is narrated by Isaac Quinton Wilson, also known as IQ. So Isaac Quinton Wilson, also known as IQ. He has been on the Corny Collins show for 14 seasons, and they are specifically talking about the 23rd episode, which happened on September 29th. I'm sorry, this is the 23rd episode, and was on September 29th. There's something about September 29th. And he is reminiscing about the last season and a half, which was chaos. He's actually speaking about 3 memorable moments that happened within the season and a half. So you have Amber. She had a wardrobe malfunction. Amber's wardrobe malfunction. Brad, who was doing the twist, and he twisted his ankle, so he was replaced by Zach. And then we have the fact that they were almost canceled and replaced by the Andy Griffith show. The next thing you need to know is that Amber is a bitch. So Amber doesn't like it when people look at Link or when the camera is panned to Grace. So doesn't like it when anyone flirts with Link or when the camera was panned to Grace. So on this specific day, Tracy Turnblad was added to the roll call, which is like the cast, basically. And Amber was not a big fan, but she had to suck it up. So Velma decided to celebrate. So she ordered from the malt shop a lime Ricky for IQ and a white cow for Tracy, which is really weird that she ordered a white cow for Tracy, but we're not going to talk about it. Anyway, she ordered a white cow for Tracy, which is a vanilla milkshake. Amber went up to Tracy and was like, congratulations, girl. So proud of you. Mwah, mwah. I just added the mwah, mwah for effect. She said, so proud of you. You know what would be really good for the ratings is if you were covered in vanilla. So she takes the vanilla milkshake and pours it on Amber's head. Pours it on Tracy's head. Madison Kimry, who was there, got really upset. And she decided to pour soda phosphate, remember the word phosphate, soda phosphate onto Amber's blonde hair. Phosphate can like affect someone's hair or whatever. Jen is the costume designer and she wanted to join the party, so she took her drink and just threw it on herself. We hear a loud thump and we don't know where it goes, and then we look and Allie had just fell. And apparently Jacob, who is the stage manager, ran over to Allie and realized the reason she fell is because Kevin, the cameraman, didn't unplug the camera. So then we go to basically IQ saying, there's a phrase saying like, if you aren't a 60s kid, make sure you're the coolest kids in town, something like that. And trying to think of anything else that I'm forgetting, but I'm going to end and then we can go back. But he decided he's going to have a show next week, and it's going to be with Madison Kimry, so we can hear her side of the story. So that's all the information I basically got.
Okay, so what's the main things I need to know?
All right.
Aside from
The
like
story is
I know-
narrated by Isaac Quinton Wilson, aka IQ.
yeah, IQ. And then
Right?
there's
14
Amber,
seasons.
14 seasons,
This is the 23rd episode,
23rd episode.
and he's talking about the last season and a half.
He's talking about the last season and a half.
There's 3 memorable moments. Do you remember what they were? Amber's malfunction, wardrobe malfunction.
Amber and her wardrobe, and then almost getting canceled
Almost
by
getting canceled.
the
And
Andy Griffin
replaced with-
show.
Yeah, and being replaced with the Andy Griffin show. And then Brad twisted his ankle doing the twist, and he was replaced by Zach.
Brad replaced by Zach, twist ankle. Cool. And then
That's the first part. Then we get to why Amber is jealous of people.
Amber doesn't like when people flirt with Link and when the camera is pointed at Grace.
Yes. So also remember that like there's going to be prod people in this and the after show host. So Zach and Grace have just been mentioned, and then we go on to a different part where Tracy gets added to the roll call.
Tracy gets added to the roll call, and then there's a part where like the whole cow thing in the milkshake is what I'm
Yeah.
like.
So we'll hit that. So Velma. She kept saying Thelma, and it's Velma.
Is it Velma or is it Thelma?
It's Velma von Tussle. So Velma is wanting to celebrate. So she goes to the malt. She orders from the malt shop. And she orders IQ a lime Ricky.
A lime Ricky.
And Tracy a white cow.
A white cow.
Which is a vanilla milkshake.
Vanilla milkshake. Okay. So Ricky gets a line. Fuck. What is it again? A line.
IQ gets a lime Ricky.
Oh, okay. IQ gets a lime Ricky, and then Tracy gets a white cow, which is a vanilla milkshake.
And then Amber goes to Tracy and says, "Wow, congratulations. You know, it would be great for the ratings if you were covered in vanilla," and then throws a vanilla milkshake onto her.
And then Madison comes up. Well, no, Madison comes up
and pours soda phosphate.
And then Jen decides to come up as well, who's the costume designer.
Yeah.
And she pours something on her head. I don't know what she pours.
We don't know. She just wants to join the party, so she pours something on her head.
Okay. And then the thump is from Allie because Kevin forgot to unplug the camera. Jacob is somewhere involved in that.
Rushes to Allie's aid.
Okay, so Jacob rushes to Allie's aid, and then...
Oh, here's the part that I didn't mention. Thelma threatens to cancel the entire show and then something about nepotism. That's what Chrissy wanted me to know, that there was nepotism. So something
nepotism?
About
nepotism? Yeah. Okay.
Nepotism. And then that's the end of the show. And IQ says that next week you'll have Madison Kimry on so she can say her side of the story.
Okay. I don't know if we should do it again. Okay, so I don't remember his name, but I do remember IQ, Isaac something.
Isaac Quinton Wilson.
IQW, Isaac Quinton Wilson. Okay. And then the 3 parts. Am I missing something before the 3 parts?
This is the 23rd episode of the
23rd, 14. Talking, and then IQ's talking about like the rest of the season or something. And
the last season and a half.
Okay. The 3 parts were Amber, wardrobe malfunction,
Brad doing the twist.
Okay, Brad doing the twist. Zach replaces Black because his ankle.
Yeah.
And then the show almost getting canceled and replaced by the Andy Griffin show.
Yeah.
And then Tracy gets added to the roll calls. And then you got Amber jealous because people will flirt with Link, or the camera's pointed at Grace. And then you got Velma ordering for IQ and Tracy, which is a hot cow, LOL, white cow vanilla milkshake, and then the other one's like Link or Rink or whatever we fucking called it.
Lime Ricky.
Ryan Ricky. Okay. And then Amber is fake to Tracy, blah blah blah. Pours the milkshake. Madison comes out, pours the phosphate. Jen's like, I want to be part of this. Pours something on her head. And then people hear a thump. Allie falls over. Jacob rushes to her aid because Kevin's dumbass forgot to unplug the camera. And then something about nepotism.
Yeah, no, literally something about nepotism. I have no idea what it is.
And then IQ says, come back next week. We'll listen to Madison's side.
Yeah, and there's also a saying that I have no idea what it is, but it's like if you aren't a 60s kid, make sure you're the coolest kid in town.
If you want to be a 60s kid, make sure you're the coolest kid in town.
Something like that.
Should we do it again? I feel like I have like a good.
Do you want me to, like, quiz you on like, I don't know the questions obviously, but like, let me see if I can like quiz you on like what I told you. So, who is narrating the story?
Isaac, Quentin, Wilson.
Yes, aka IQ. All right. What season is this?
The 14th.
Yeah, and what episode is this?
23rd.
Okay. And he is reminiscing about what?
The season and a half or something like that.
Yeah.
Half
there
season.
Were 3 memorable moments. What were they?
Amber and her wardrobe malfunction. I keep forgetting his name. Brad.
Yep.
Brad and his twisted ankle because he was doing twist and Zach replaces him. And you got the show almost getting canceled because the show almost getting canceled and replaced by the Andy Griffin show.
Yep. Good. Thelma orders 2 drinks for 1 drink for Tracy and 1 drink for IQ. What are the names?
The Lion Ricky and the White Cow.
Amber gets jealous because of 2 things.
Flirting with Ricky, flirting with Link. And then cameras pointed at Grace.
Correct. Amber goes to Tracy and says the ratings would be better if what?
Something about vanilla. Of course, the vanilla shake all over her.
Yeah, if you were covered in vanilla, of course the vanilla.
Yeah, if you were covered in vanilla.
Madison Kimry runs up and pours what onto Amber?
Soda phosphate.
You know,
Jen comes up.
Yeah. Here, Jen comes up and just pours something on herself. We still don't know what it is. The next question is, we hear a thump. Who fell?
Allie.
And then my next question is, Jen has a title, Jacob has a title, and Kevin has a title. What are their titles? Jen is the costume designer.
Oh shit. Costume designer.
Jacob's the stage manager.
Stage manager, and then Kevin's the cameraman.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see.
Did Velma. They say what
Madison was?
What was Madison? Okay.
No. Velma threatens to what?
Cancel the show.
Great. And then
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Because of what? Nepotism, apparently. which doesn't make any
Okay,
sense.
nepotism. Okay. I don't know what that fucking
Um,
word is.
Nepotism is when you basically hire someone that you're related to, or like hire someone gets a job because they haven't. And then who are we going to speak to next week to hear their side of the story?
Madison.
And what's the motto or the phrase or whatever?
Something about this. If you want to be a cool kid, something about the 60s and being a cool kid.
Yeah. I still don't know what the title is called. She said it was like a grand old time, or
So something basically like a title that like, because I can tell like at least the story that you gave me is like nostalgic. So anything revolving on nostalgic, reminiscing title.
yeah.
I guess.
Also, just know that like chaos is involved or chaos ensues. Also,
Okay.
remember September 29th. I have no idea why, but September 29th is a thought. So
Okay.
you good?
I think I'm good.
Honestly, whatever happens, like we slayed that.
Yeah.
Hey, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Question 1. What is the name of the show that starts off the story?
A grand old time. We'll go with that.
All right. What is the name of the host of the show?
Mr. Isaac Quentin Wilson, or AKA IQ. Oh my God.
All right. What were some of the other eventful moments that the host mentions before talking about the milkshake fight?
So you're asking for me to name all three or all of them?
Yes.
You got Amber's wardrobe malfunction, Brad's twisted ankle because he was doing a twist, and Zach replacing him, and then the show almost getting canceled and replaced by the Andy Griffin show.
All right. Why were number 4? Why were the milkshakes given out?
When?
Why were the milkshakes given out?
Because Velma wanted to celebrate.
All right. Number 5, name at least 3 of the milkshakes that the castmates were given.
3,
Yeah.
Lime Ricky, White Cow. You know what? We'll go in with Madison, even though it's not a milkshake, a soda phosphate. We'll go with that.
All right.
So question, with that, if I do get it wrong, is the entire like question, like I don't get points if I got the 2 correct or like 1 correct?
You'll find out soon.
Okay, cool.
All right. Number 6, who replaced Brad after he broke his ankle?
Zach.
All right. 7, what was the date the fight occurred?
September 29th.
All right. 8, how many seasons was how many seasons was the host of the show on the Corey Collins show?
Repeat the question.
All right. How many seasons was the host of the show on the Courtney Collins show?
Fuck, was it 14th or 23rd? On the 14th season, it was 23. If I remember correctly, okay. Wait, We're gonna go with 23.
Okay. Number 9. How many times was the camera operator mentioned?
From what I was told, once.
All right. Number 10. What happened the day after the fight?
We're gonna hear from Madison's side.
Okay. 11. Aside from Tracy, who is Amber jealous of?
And this is, are you looking for like a person?
Yes.
Grace.
Okay. All right. Last question. What is the title of the episode?
Nepotism.
Okay. And then a tiebreaker question. In total, how many milkshakes are mentioned in the story?
We'll go with 12.
Okay. And you are done. We will get back to you with results soon. And I'm very sorry this took way too long.
You're fine.